Hey everyone, I wanted to do something a little bit different than what I've done in the past. I've done a couple of videos in the past where I talk about stuff that I use. Well, this time I want to do a video about stuff that I used to use and I'm retiring. I think I mentioned on the channel a few times that before I got into video, I was doing audio quite a bit. And I actually have more years of experience doing audio than video. And for a number of years, I've been using this mixer right here. This is a Mackie TT24. I bought this mixer back in 2005, I think it was, and it was over $5,000. I think it was closer to $6,000 when I got it. At the time, there weren't a lot of mixers like it, so I was looking for something digital because I was tired of carrying racks and racks of gear in order to have all the compressors and effects processors that I wanted, and I wanted something that had kind of everything built in. So I picked this guy up. It's been on quite a few events with me over the years, although for about the last 10 years or so, it's been mostly in storage. My full-time job that I had there for a number of years prevented me from having the time to do much with audio or video, so I kind of got away from it, although there was one winter in there where I was doing gigs about if not every week, every other week, for a few months. And so, but yeah, it's mostly been sitting in storage for about the last 10 years or so. I've been going through it today. I'm getting ready to sell this. Not just because I don't use it that much, because if that was the only reason, I wouldn't sell it. But in this case, I'm going to be getting that Yamaha TF3 that I talked about on the channel. It's actually on the way. It should be arriving here in the next few days. And I don't need both. A lot of ways the Yamaha has a lot of similar functionality. But I've been going through this today, make sure everything works in order to get it prepped to sell. So even though I've had it for 13 years, it actually still works exactly like brand new, with one small exception. One channel on here is noisy. If I tap the board, you can sometimes see, there we go, see on the level meters, tapping the board actually causes it to trigger. So it has one channel that's kind of loud, kind of noisy. I think that's my fault. I think last time I had it opened up, I probably left some debris behind and it's making contact with some of the audio input there. But that's the only problem it has. Everything else actually works just fine, which, from what I understand, is unusual for a Mackie TT24 as old as this. So anyway, I not only have the mixer itself, I have a couple of the expansion cards for it. So this one's a networking card, and I'll show you more about that in a minute. And then this one is an effects processor. So built in, I'll tell you a little bit about this thing. So it's 24 analog channels for it to have both mic and line, and then it has 24 digital channels, and then it also has 8 additional line inputs. So total of 56 inputs on the mixer itself. And then you can do this add-on card in order to give it network functionality, so you can do a stage box over a single Ethernet cable. Even though it's not an Ethernet protocol, this came out before the days of Dante and AVB really being popular. But it did have a networking capability. I'll show you the stage box because I do have that. But it only had, because DSP was kind of expensive in those days, it only had the digital signal processing on the analog channels. It didn't have any DSP on the digital channels. So if you wanted to do compression or equalization on those other channels, you had to get the DSP card. So I got that and did the upgrade. So yeah, mine's pretty much fully decked out. I also made some modifications to it. You see up here there are some Cat 5 jacks, and those are not digital, those are analog. And I think I've probably mentioned on this channel a couple times about how I sometimes run audio over Cat 5 cables. That's exactly what I did here. So 4 channels input there, 4 channels input there, and then 4 channels of output there. So that was basically monitor and main coming out of that, and then run an Ethernet cable to carry 4 channels of audio, and then just do a real simple breakout box on the other end. Now you're thinking, why in the world would you bother doing that if you have the digital snake? Well, digital snake is kind of big and heavy, and sometimes it's just easier to run analog. And the other thing is, a lot of facilities actually have Cat 5 wiring in the walls already, and I've been able to use those on a number of occasions run 8 channels of input audio over a building's Cat 5, and it works just fine. You do have to have shielded Cat 5 if you want to do phantom power, but if you don't need phantom power, regular Cat 5 works just fine. So anyway, just a few other things. It has motorized faders, so as I go to the different banks, you'll see that the faders will actually move into place. When you pair channels, the faders, any paired channels will follow. So yeah, it's fully automated that way. It has 12 auxiliary sends, the last 4 of which are intended for use with the internal effects processor. The internal effects, well, the reverb, it's okay, not great. Newer mixers have better reverbs. So I almost always use this thing with an external effects rack. So I had a Lexicon reverb, a second Lexicon reverb, or just a generic Lexicon effects processor, and then the Studio Quad that you guys have seen in my audio booth here in the trailer. That used to be in that rack too. But in terms of the compressors and equalization, they all sounded great on here. Parametric EQ on every channel, nice quality compressor and gate and expander on every channel. Lots of cool stuff. I've loved this mixer. I've absolutely loved this mixer, but it's with my new Yamaha coming, it's just not necessary anymore, and it is kind of big and heavy and takes up a lot of space. Obviously it's too big for the trailer. There's no way I can keep this thing in here and use it. It just takes up way too much space. And so the other problem is the stage box communicates over a proprietary protocol that I can't run over fiber, and so yeah, it just doesn't have a purpose here in, with what I'm doing these days. So alright, with that said, let's actually just go down to take a look at the stage box. So this is the stage box that goes with it. It's 32 inputs, 32 outputs. It's got nice high quality mic preamps on it. Sounds great. I've been pretty happy with it, but at the same time, I haven't used this for that many gigs. I bought it quite a bit later than I bought the mixer. So by the time I actually got the stage box, I wasn't doing as much audio stuff anymore. Here, let me turn this down. So it hasn't seen a whole lot of use. I think I've maybe used this thing a total of half dozen gigs is all. So it's practically unused. And I got to set up again just today to make sure, test it, make sure everything works okay. And so I tested every channel. Every channel works just fine. It works just the way it's supposed to. And yeah. So the stage boxes that I'm going to be getting with my TF3, Yamaha TF3, eventually each one only has 16 inputs and 8 outputs. And so in order to replicate a lot of this functionality, I can't. Those boxes, even in the maximum number of 3, I still won't have as many input channels and output channels in total as I've had with my Mackie. So, speaking of which, when you add the stage box, that adds additional channels to the mixer. However, you can't use them all at the same time. You're limited to 72 input channels at a time. Not that there are going to be a lot of gigs where I would need 72 channels, but there would be that limitation on there. So anyway, so I just thought it'd be fun to show you guys something that I've used in the past and am going to be putting up for sale. If anybody watching this might be interested in something like this, it's still in really good condition, especially considering its age, and it does have I do have a full shipping case for it. I even put wheels on it to make it nice and easy to move around. So it's been a great mixer for me, and I'm kind of sad to part with it. It's in some ways the new mixer that I'm getting is a bit of a downgrade. The new mixer doesn't have anywhere near as many channels. The channel count's about half. So, but I don't do a lot of events where I need 40 channels, so I'll probably be all right. And the new mixer does work much better with the trailer. So, anyway, so there it is, Mackie TT24 Digital Snake DS3232, and yeah, so it's been good to me, and kind of sad to retire it, but it's probably time to move on. So, anyways, thanks for guys for watching, and we'll talk to you later.